Wait, no, 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 no! Damn it! The nuke was right there! It was right there! Son of a bitch. What the? Is it Friday already? What the? Holy crap, I'm late! Hey everybody, Tekking101 here. I know I'm a couple days late on this review, but everything just crazy right now with college and my job, so I apologize for that, but I'm here right now, so let's do Bleach chapter number 516 entitled The Squad Zero. Oh, God, Kubo, come on, man, these chapter titles are getting ridiculous. I mean, how the hell am I supposed to know what this means? Okay, so chapter starts off in an unknown location where several Shinigami are gathering. We don't see what their faces look like, but we do see the symbol on their Captain Haori's, which is a symbol we've never previously seen before. Now, these are obviously the members of the Zero Division. A question for you guys, what exactly does that symbol represent? I'm pretty sure, I mean, I know it's not the, the symbol for zero in, like, Japanese. I know it's not that complicated, but maybe that symbol is a testament to something. Later on in the chapter, we find out there's 5 members of the Zero Division, but there's only 4 stars, so I don't get what the symbolism with that is, if that symbol's supposed to mean anything, beyond their insignia. So, maybe it is, I'm not sure. Maybe I'm just, like, dumb American here. Okay, now, sidetrack a little bit. I'm reading this on Manga Stream, and for those of you who don't read it on Manga Stream, before the actual chapter starts, we actually get several panels of fan art that they send into Manga Stream, and I usually don't mention them because they're not canon, but there was an image for this week that includes Rukia, and I feel like I have to mention it because, seriously, what the F? Now I'm getting kind of off topic here, but I just felt I had to mention that, really. It just comes out of nowhere. Okay, so we cut to the inside of the 12th Division barracks where Ichigo is having a talk with Mayuri Kurotsuchi, and Mayuri is apparently telling him that he cannot fix Ichigo's Tensuzangetsu, having been broke by Hashball a couple chapters previous. And this is where we get into a huge freaking retcon that Kubo did, and Kubo does this from time to time. He'll like retcon something that happened way back at the beginning of the series. Ichigo's Quincy powers, for one, is probably one of them. But anyway, in this chapter we find out that the Zanpakuto can be repaired in its Shikai state only. And we've seen this several times. We've seen this, Renji's Zanpakuto got broken when he was fighting Ichigo the second time. Ikaku's got broken like twice against Eterod and against Pao, or Po, or however you want to pronounce Bargain's Fraction. And those were always repaired. And it was always stated like, the Zanpakutos can heal in Shikai kind of the same way they can, like humans can. Like they, need time to rest, and the Shinigami just pours their Ryatsu, and they just need to be around their master, and eventually they'll heal. But that's not the case with Bankai. In the case with Bankai is, if it's broken, then that's it. A broken Bankai can never return to its former state. And he does go into a little bit of an explanation of previous Bankais that have been broken. Mayuri mentions Ikaku's in his fight against Eterod. It was chipped and broken. He states that Akon kind of put it back together, but it's not as strong as it once was. He mentions Renji's when he was fighting Byakuya, how Renji, he says Byakuya broke a couple links, but if I remember that fight correctly, it was Renji who couldn't time his Bankai correctly and actually rammed his Bankai into itself. So, whatever. But, we actually haven't seen Renji's Bankai really in full view ever since that fight. So we never really had a chance to count how many links there were, but I'm pretty sure Kubo wasn't planning this way back at the beginning of the Soul Society arc. I'm pretty sure he wasn't thinking of that back then, but, it is a retcon, and I guess it kind of makes sense. I suppose if I really wanted to, I could nitpick the crap out of this retcon. So I will, but hold on, let me just get the proper subtitle up. No, that's the speculation alarm. No, that's sarcasm. Oh, there we go. Nitpick alert. Okay. What about Soifon's bankai? Soifon's bankai is a giant missile that's designed to blow up. What happens if it doesn't get blown up? What happens if it only gets cut in half? Does the missile just appear exploded in her hand, or what's up with that? What about Tozen's bankai? When he was fighting against Kenpachi, his bankai got shattered. Does the effect have to get shattered and it never comes back, or if the blade itself got shattered, does it ever come back? Although I guess that would explain why we never saw Tozen's bankai in his fight against Komamura in the Fate Karakura arc. And what about Mayuri, for that matter? Yeah, remember that? Quincy, final form, Uryu split his bankai right the fuck in half? What about that, huh? We see it perfectly fine in the next time it's used against Sile. Then again, Mayuri does experiment with his Zanpakuto a lot, and he blew it up in that same fight, so I guess that doesn't really mean much. Yeah, I don't think I'll be doing the nitpick alert that much in the near future. Anyway, Mayuri goes on to explain that there are exceptions to this rule, kind of with Komamura, how in the Fate Karakura arc, Tozen stated that the major weakness of Komamura's bankai was that whatever injury happens to Komamura happens to the giant, but that also can be kind of a strength, because that means whatever damage his bankai succumbs to can be healed as Komamura is healed, so it's also kind of a strength as well as a weakness. Although Mayuri does state that that's the only exception that he's ever recorded in the history of bankai, because he has like a record of every single one in the Seirei. So Ichigo's right about to ask him what he should do when all of a sudden he gets smacked in the face by a giant muscular 8-packed cone. Holy shit, Cone! Awesome, you're back! Because, you know, nobody would have expected that 2 days ago when this chapter was actually released, but wow, that's incredible. Though, man, you gotta, you know, stay off the steroids a little bit, dude. I mean, cut back just a little. I mean, we all want to play Major League Baseball, but the steroids are not the answer. Alright, so for all the ranting I've done on the subject matter, I'm sure a lot of you are expecting some huge thing about what I think about Kone's sudden return to the series, and I only really have 2 words to say in rebuttal to this. Mr. Popo, if you would.
Called it.
And it's been over 200 plus chapters since we've seen Kone do, like, anything. You know, I have a theory behind this. Wouldn't it be awesome if Kone just shows up all of a sudden and he's not like in his plushie, he's like in another human body, or he's another Giga, and he just shows up and he's all battle worn and he just had an epic adventure and everyone's like, where the fuck have you been? I know, right? So Kone just shows up, he has a little back and forth with Ichigo, you know, it's basically making fun of the fact that they haven't seen him in so long. And it's funny because Ichigo, you know, going along with the theme of Ichigo, he can never really remember people's names or faces that well. But come on, dude, really? You can't recognize stuff. I understand he's like ripped like a freaking giant right now, but you can't tell that that's Kone, really. You have to sit there and think about it for a little bit. No, it's been a while, Ichigo, but you're not that brain damaged, alright? Unless, you know, that, you know, knife that Juha rammed into your neck actually did have a little bit of latent effect. Oh yeah, so Kona's back, and he's apparently also the King of New York. Right before Ichigo's about to enlighten him with his epic tale of adventures, a Squad 12 member behind him presses a button and he reverts back to his original plushy form. You know, I don't know if, you know, Kone's actually going to be important to this arc, or if maybe Kubo just brought him back because people kept sending him letters about bringing Kone back, so that might be a reason. I will explain, though, that some people were wondering why Kone is just magically in the 12th Division, and, I have a theory behind this, but it might not be considered canon. You see, tracking when Kone's last appearance in the series is actually kind of difficult, because the last time I think we saw him in the main storyline was, what, like the Arankar arc? Like, it's been a long time ago. But there was also, like, extra chapters, like little side notes about him becoming the Karakurizer, becoming, like, the superhero of Karakura Town. Kubo did draw those, and they are considered canon. But I think what is going on here that I'm basing it off of is that in the Fate Karakura Town arc, near the end of the fight, there were at the end of the anime episodes, there's like little buffers like Kone's Shinigami Adventures or whatever, and in one of those series, Kone was actually founding Fate Karakura Town arc when they were cleaning up the town after the fight with Aizen, and the 12th Division found Kone and kind of abducted him to bring him back to the 12th Division barracks, the R&D, for like experimentation. So that happened in the anime. I'm not sure if that did happen in a cliff note in the manga, but if it did, it would make perfect sense why Kone would be in the 12th Division, but I'm not really worried about that. I'm not really concerned. I'm just happy that he's back, and I hope he does make, you know, at least, maybe not a huge point into the story, but at least turn him back into the giant and, like, beat the living shit out of one of the Stern Raiders. At least do that, Kubo. At least give me that much. Alright, so, anyway, they continue that banner with Ichigo and Kone while Mayuri receives a phone call. inside of his weird Mayan headdress. Oh well, leave it to Mayuri. Really, I wouldn't be surprised if that thing was implanted in his ear. Actually, yes it was, Tekking101, but don't fret. You too can receive the same marvelous implantation. No, it's cool, dude. See, I have a droid. I mean, I got texting on this thing and everything. It's good. That's all I need it for. I don't need a implantation into the head. Though, I am curious as to how exactly that would occur. Oh, it's actually a fairly easy procedure. We just open up your head, remove some unnecessary fodder, and place it with the Kurotsuchi Wonder Wi-Fi device. Oh, and if you call now at this instant, we will also give you the Super Deluxe package absolutely free, where we remove part, or if you request, all of your spinal cord. All for the low price of just $399.99. These prices are the lowest in town. Don't go to my competitors. They will rip you off. No, we won't. Caesar Clown Industries is perfectly fair and just. Now sit on the table while I gas you. Okay, those infomercials on TV are getting way out of hand. Alright, anyway, the call that Mayuri received states that the Zero Division is about to arrive in the Seirei, and that he recommends Ichigo to go see them. We can title page, Chapter 516, The Squad Zero, as we get an epic overlook of the entire Seirei. Then we cut over to all the captains waiting outside of the Seirei wall. Guys, you think we should have cleaned that off before the Zero Squad shows up? Damn it, Shinji, we're captains, not janitors. Kid Shorku, whatever, don't come crying to me when you get bitched out by the Zero Squad. Okay, so Ichigo asked the questions that I think we're all wondering. Exactly where is the Royal Palace? Where did the Zero Squad come from? And it's not expressly stated where it is, but it is hinted at heavily that the Zero Squad or the Royal Palace is somewhere above the Seirei, or maybe in a different dimension above the Seirei. Because Choroku mentions that the wall that appears around the Seirei is not usually supposed to be there. It's only there supposed in times of emergency, like when Ichigo first invaded the Seirei, back in the Soul Society arc when they first invaded, or during the Vandenreich invasion, for example. But normally the wall is actually protecting the Royal Guard, the Royal Palace, which would indicate it's somewhere above the Seirei, or maybe in a different dimension, because if it's just above, then why did Aizen need the Oaken to begin with? Or maybe it is above the Seirei, it's just maybe locked in some kind of dimensional rift or dimensional space, and you can't get in it without the Oaken. But that's just conjecture. Okay, guys, so here we go. The epic reveal of the Squad Zero. Now, I don't know about you, but I was thinking the entrance to the Squad Zero to be something incredibly epic. Like a giant pearly or maybe a golden gate appears in the middle of the Seirei, and it opens up, and then these, like, 5 or 6 badasses riding Winging Pegasus ride down with their swords blazing like archangels, ready to kick some ass. So yeah, obviously the way that the Squad Zero shows up is going to be epic in every single sense. Alright, so, yeah, after that giant pillar crashes down called the Techiken, or Heavenly Pillar, Choroku goes on to state that there's actually no soldiers in the Zero Division, and actually it's only 5 captains, although actually calling them captains would be kind of underwhelming because their strength together is actually stronger than all of the Goatee 13 put together. Yes, I suppose you could even call them elite captains. Ah, see what I did there? I'm clever, I'm meta. Okay, actually, before we get to the faces, the revelation of the Squad Zero, let me just bring up to the fact really quickly that we have this elite squadron of warriors that only shows up in the most dire of situations, and their primary method of transportation is all crowding into a giant pillar and being hurled at the ground at Mach 7. I guess if you want to make a grandiose entrance and make people piss their pants, I guess that would be the way to do it. So now we get to the showing of all the 5 Squad Zero members. Huh. Well, I'll give it to you, Kubo. They're different designs. We have a bald Mr. T, a guy that kind of looks like that guy from Fairy Tail. I think his name was Wakaba. I've also been told that he kind of looks like a guy from Shaman King, but I've never read Shaman King, so I don't know. Then we get a characters who actually would look more in place in Naruto and One Piece than in Bleach. And then we finally get one hot chick in the entire group, who I'm really hoping is Kiryu Hikafune, the previous captain of Squad 12. I'm really hoping that that's her, because if so, kick ass. But other than that, she's probably my favorite character. I think actually she's probably a lot of people's favorite character in the Squad Zero. That's the end of the chapter. So 3 major points in this chapter. We had the revelation of the Bankai, Koten's epic appearance, and the Squad Zero's less than... I mean, it's still pretty cool that they even showed up, but honestly, I think we were all expecting a little bit more of as like what they would look like and how they would appear all of a sudden, which I'll give you, the entrance was grand. It wasn't what I was expecting, but it was okay. And the appearances, though, they're just a little bit odd. I mean, I'm definitely sure that all 5 of these guys are badasses. Like, no, not even arguable that they are. I'm sure any of these guys could take down any of the Stern Raiders with like one hand tied behind their back. I'm just saying that their appearance is just maybe a little bit distracting from that. Also, you know, I don't know if this is putting numbers to it or anything, but since Shunsui said that all 5 of them put together are stronger than all 13 captains, I would like to relate that to each of the squads, the Squad 0 members being as strong as 3 captains. So if, you know, 3 for each, so 3 times 5, 15, that'd be equally, I mean, stronger than the 13. So I'm going to say that, that would make sense if each one was as strong as the 3. You know, going along with that, next chapter we'll probably get, their names, obviously, what their names are. Maybe we'll get, like, their previous divisions, what they're from. Like I said, I really hope that the hot chick is actually Kiryu Hikifune, because, you know, that'd be cool, too. Even if she is the other one on the end, I guess that'd be, just to know her face, I guess, would be okay. You know, going about that. So next chapter, I'm not expecting anything huge in terms of, like, revelations of, like, what's going to happen now, but I'm expecting to get their names, maybe their previous divisions, and maybe what their general plan of action is going to be fighting the Vandenreich as a whole. Also, Ichigo's bankai. Okay, I highly doubt that Ichigo's going to go around and swinging like a half, you know, broken Tensuzangetsu the entire rest of the series, and he got cut off by Kon before Mayuri had a chance to tell him exactly what to do. But what I'm guessing is that Ichigo is now going to have some kind of conversation with Tensuzangetsu, because honestly, he hasn't had any kind of connection with him ever since he got his powers back, and that's kind of a chip too, right? I mean, he just got a new bankai like not even 50 chapters ago, and now it's already broken in half. What the fuck? So, yeah, I'm sure he's either going to get the bankai fixed, remodeled again, which I highly doubt, or he's not going to be focusing on Tensuzangetsu in the upcoming fight. He might focus on his new Quincy powers, which is another huge point there. So, you know, that's Bleach chapter number 516, the Squad 0. Really epic chapter. Really kind of disappointed I didn't get a chance to review this back in Wednesday, but I'm got around to it at all. So, thanks everybody for watching my videos. Thanks so much for the support. Tekking101 signing out. I will be getting the next chapter out next week on a normal schedule. Okay, see you guys. Signing out.